Welcome back to another episode of College Hockey Talk. We are joined here today by UNH rising junior forward and fifth-round pick of the Ottawa Senators, Angus Crookshank. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and how are you doing today?
Doing well. Just woke up, had some breakfast, and sat down to do the podcast.
That's awesome. And obviously this offseason has been different due to COVID-19. Are you doing anything different to prepare for this upcoming season, or are you doing most of the same preparation you would for a normal season without coronavirus?
Thankfully, my training hasn't been affected too much from it. Vancouver in general, or British Columbia in general, has been doing a very good job with the pandemic. The numbers are pretty low right now, so a lot of places have been able to stay open, including gyms and rinks, which I've been thankful for sure. But no, I've been doing same sort of stuff. I've been obviously trying to work my bag off, do as much as I can to get ready for the upcoming season.
That's cool. And before UNH, you played for the Langley Rivermen in the BCHL. What was that experience like for you, and how did it help you prepare for college hockey?
Oh, it was massive. I don't know, junior hockey, living away from home, it really makes you grow up in a hurry. You got to be a pretty mature person to live away from home for that. I was there for 2 years, but living there on your own. But no, it was a life-changing experience for sure. Great hockey over there. They run a fantastic program. Very thankful to have played there.
And what's the situation like? So you moved there when you're around like 15, 16 years old. How do you, where do you go to school and how do you live there and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I lived with the billet family for both years. Two billet families, both were unbelievably kind and generous to me. And then for school, obviously, I went for for what Americans call senior year, but in Canada we call it grade 12. So my grade 12 year, they have a system there with the team and the local school. So we would have our classes in the morning, and then we'd be able to make it to practice in the afternoon, and then obviously lift either whenever the time sees fit. But no, it's a good setup. You don't miss any school. You're well accommodated. It's a very good setup.
That's awesome. And you also won the gold medal for Canada West at the World A Junior Challenge, scoring the game-winning goal. Describe that moment, not only scoring the game winner, but winning that tournament for your country.
Yeah, it was a pretty special feeling. That's your dream growing up, to put on the maple leaf over your chest. But to be able to do it, and what was weird, so we started out the tournament 0-3, and for whatever reason, just based off of goal differential, we made it into the semifinals, to the quarterfinals. And obviously it all kind of turned our way, I guess, once the elimination rounds hit. But to do it obviously in Canada, and it was pretty cool. My dad was there. He came all the way over to the East Coast where it was being held, to come watch with, and being able to share that moment with him was pretty special.
That's great. And you were also drafted by the Ottawa Senators that same year. What was your draft day like, and how did you find out you were going to Ottawa?
Well, draft day was a little stressful. So I try, like, obviously, like, you follow along, like, leading up to the draft, like, you see where you're at kind of relatively compared to other players. And I knew, talking to my advisor, like, okay, like, there's a chance I could go, a chance I couldn't go. So I went with the mindset of, okay, like, I'm just not really going to pay attention, just assume I don't go, and just use that as motivation. But I was pretty lucky. I was actually around the corner in the kitchen here, making myself some breakfast, and my brother was watching it on the TV, and my name popped up on the screen. My brother just let out this massive scream. It was pretty cool to share that moment with him. Like, I mean, it's a dream come true when you're a little kid being drafted in the NHL. I mean, obviously it was a surreal moment, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to reach the final goal for sure.
You also got the opportunity to participate in the Senators development camp. What was that experience like for you? And was there anything interesting you got to do in Ottawa when you were in development camp there?
Yeah, so I mean, they run a fantastic development camp. It's a very well run organization, very professional. The one big takeaway I took from it is what it takes to be a pro every single day. What these guys have to do, like, what the toll it takes on their bodies first off, and then what they have to do to recover and be at their best for, like, a 3-3 type situation or something like that. One of the cool things you had to do my first year was we had an axe throwing competition, which was I'd never thrown an axe before, but and some of these guys are these big big prairie boys that grew up on farms, so they've thrown an axe or two. But funny enough, I actually ended up winning, and I had never thrown an axe before. But maybe that's if hockey doesn't work out, maybe that's my career path.
That's pretty interesting. And you also got to play with Brady Tkachuk, who was the Senators' 4th overall pick the same year you were drafted. What was it like to play with him in development camp, and any good things or stories to say about him?
Yeah, he was a man amongst boys out there. Like, he was so physically dominant, and I mean, obviously, you see what he's doing right now. Obviously, his rookie year and then his second year as well. So far, like, he's been absolutely huge for them. I mean, he's obviously a big piece for the organization moving forward. Hopefully, I can be a part of that someday. But I mean, at dev camp, you can't really. There's no real like stories because everyone's kind of on edge because it's like a tryout kind of vibe type thing. But no, he was always a very good guy. He always liked to kind of joke around with the guys, and I mean, he was a little more comfortable than some of us other guys. But no, he was a very good guy. I have nothing but good things to say about him.
And what made you want to play for UNH and advance your development as a hockey player?
Well, my recruiting process was pretty short. I had went with a team to the East Coast, like a spring hockey team over to the East Coast when I was 14. And I kind of knew at that point I'd been passed up in the Bantam draft for the WHL. And my dad had played college hockey, so college hockey was kind of on my mind. And we toured a bunch of the East Coast schools, kind of the BU, BC, UNH, Maine, like all those schools as a team. And for whatever reason, I fell in love with UNH. And this is before UNH had even talked to me. And then when I was 15, UNH kind of first approached me at a tournament in Banff, Alberta. And I met Coach Souza, and kind of the recruiting process started there. And honestly, like, the biggest thing that drew me to UNH was, first off, the history of the program. It's such a rich history, but also the fact that I'll have an opportunity to play as a freshman, and that's one thing. If I would pass along to, I don't know, any other kid that's kind of going through the recruiting process. Yeah, I mean, some other schools may have these big, massive bells and whistles, like bigger rinks, bigger jumbotrons, nicer gear. But at the end of the day, like, what's that going to do if you're playing like 4 minutes a night, or you're sitting up in the stands? Like, you want to be able to be that guy that makes a difference. And that's kind of what drew me to UNH. And play under Coach Souza. Coach Souza is an unbelievable coach. The coaching staff there is second to none, in my opinion.
One thing that UNH does have is one of the best student sections in Hockey East. What's it like to play under them, and any cool things you heard that they chanted at you?
A couple cool. My favorite one is whenever you lay someone out with like a big hit, they'll start chanting, "Who's your daddy?" which is I think that's my personal favorite. But no, it's an unbelievable atmosphere at the Wit. Like, we are so fortunate to play in not only a student section, but a fan base in general that's so loyal. Like, when we go out of like our big trips out of conference, like when we went to Colorado College my freshman year, there were UNH fans like all over World Arena, and I'm just like, okay, UNH isn't even close to Colorado College. How are you people like such loyal fans that you're coming here? But it's pretty cool. Obviously, it's a little different compared to like the Canadian college sports scene. Like, everything's people are a lot more passionate of their alma maters, I guess. But it's an unbelievable environment to play college hockey and to play hockey in general.
You had a very good freshman season at New Hampshire. What would you say was your biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey?
Yeah, biggest adjustment. It kind of took me kind of that 8-10 games to kind of really get my feet under me. I mean, it's a big jump from junior for sure. I mean, obviously guys are bigger. You're going against, like, your average size for a defenseman is 6 feet plus, 200 plus pounds, which is a lot different compared to junior hockey. And those guys can move. So you got to kind of, that first kind of 8 games is to kind of work out. I found kind of work out, like, okay, what works to what doesn't work? What can I get away with that I got away with in junior? What can't I do anymore? And obviously the coaching staff was so helpful with that. Like, obviously, like, watching video and kind of realizing, okay, like, you got to be in this spot, or you should be making this play, even though it may work in juniors, it doesn't work here. Then once I kind of started to figure that out, I think I kind of fell into my rhythm. I played with 2 very good line mates that year, in Liam Blackburn and Chris Miller. two older guys. Liam was a junior at the time and Chris was a senior, but they were absolutely instrumental in kind of helping me through the process. I'm very fortunate to have played with those guys for sure.
And unfortunately, UNH did not qualify for the Hockey East playoffs this past season. What would you say is the biggest thing you and your team have to work on this year to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, with all this stuff going on, I guess it's not a bad year to miss the playoffs because we didn't even get to play playoffs. But I mean, at the end of the day, it sucks missing them. But I think our biggest problem this year, we were inconsistent. I think we would show up for some games, show up and then not show up for some other games. And I think our team was still young. I think part of it's still kind of growing pains and continuing to mature. I think we'll have a very good team this year. I think we'll make. I know we'll make the playoffs. It's not an I think. I know. It's an I know sort of thing. But I think we'll have a very good team this year. It's just a matter of kind of buckling down and being more mature with our approach to the rink, and knowing that it's a faceless opponent and anyone can beat anyone any night in college hockey.
On a more positive note, one of your biggest goals this past season was the tip against Boston College where you won in overtime. It was voted one of the best goals in Hockey East, and they had an Instagram poll where it was the finalist for the top goal of the season. I just want to know, what was that goal like, and describe the positive recognition from the fans for such a good goal.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I didn't expect to make it that far, to be completely honest with you. There was a lot of unbelievable plays that were in the poll there, but that goal was huge. I mean, obviously BC was pretty highly ranked. They were the favorite to win Hockey East, and this was pretty early in the year, so they were ranked high still in the nation. So it was a tight game. Our goalie stood on his head for us. It was pretty back and forth, but my dad was in town. It was his first time in town at UNH, and being able to kind of score a goal like that with him there was pretty special. I mean, obviously, also it was just a massive game. It was sold out at the Wit. There's not too much better in college hockey than scoring a goal like that.
Especially against Spencer Knight, who's one of the best goalies in Hockey East. I remember he was stopping like every shot, and then when you scored that goal, the place just erupted. It was pretty insane to watch from TV even.
Yeah, it was. He's an unbelievable talent. I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't sign after this season. Like I think he's pro ready, to be completely honest with you. He was unbelievable this year. But to be able to score a goal like that, it was pretty special moment. It's not one I'll forget for a long time.
Now, what are some of your goals for this next season for you personally?
For me personally, I think just play the best hockey I can play. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't control how many goals, assists, points, whatever. That's just how hockey is. I mean, all I can focus on is showing up every night, giving my best effort, and trying to do my job to help my team win. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Now we're gonna do a segment called "These Are Non-Hockey Questions," so they're not hockey related.
Right.
So I was doing some research on you, and you said your favorite movie was Caddyshack. I have to ask, what character from that movie would be the best hockey player?
The best hockey player, man. First off, coach, I'd probably say would be Judge Smales. Would be the best coach. Best player though, I think it'd be Carl. Just based off his swing when he's gardening some of the flowers, it looks like a pretty good slap shot, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think that would be good. He would be good too. What's your favorite thing about New Hampshire?
Favorite thing about New Hampshire is like the diversity of the environment. You're, at least in Durham, you're 30 minutes away from the ocean where you can go surfing, but you're also 30 minutes away from being up in the White Mountains where there's some unbelievable viewpoints. I mean, it's a nice contrast.
You mentioned that you're from British Columbia. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Surfing, hands down. I'm a huge surfer.
Who is the funniest on your team?
Funniest on our team. I'd probably go with either Eric McAdams or Charlie Keller.
And you also said that your favorite musician is John Party. What is your favorite song by him?
Out of Style. I think it's a good. I'm a big country guy, and I'm a sucker for his voice. I think it's very good.
What is your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show, kind of ebbs and flows. I'm right now big into Modern Family, but I'm also a big Family Guy person as well.
I love Family Guy. Yeah,
love it.
And my last question is, and this is, I actually have two more questions, and they're both hockey related now. What's your favorite road arena to play in?
Or up at the Orono, up at Alphon. It's that main UNH rivalry goes back a long, long time, and it's pretty cool to play up there, and it's even better to score a goal up there to quiet the crowd.
Yeah, the last two guys I've interviewed both said the same thing, so I guess I gotta make it up there one day.
Oh, it's a heck of an environment. I definitely recommend going there.
And my last question for you, Angus, is what is your favorite hockey memory?
Favorite hockey memory? Jeez. Favorite playing one would probably be the winning the gold medal with Team Canada. Favorite non-playing would be watching Burrows slay the Dragon when the Canucks beat the Blackhawks in Game 7 during their Cup run.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Angus. I wish you all the best in the future, and I look forward to watching you guys play next year.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.